This time I would ask that if you have any cell phones or other devices that you would turn those off. Our first item of business is to approve the minutes from the last board meeting. Need a motion to approve as printed.
So moved.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Next item of business is application the case number is 2023-07-5. This time we'll allow I believe Lori to come forward and to describe what's going on here. You have 15 minutes to present your case. If you would, when you go to the stand, if you'd sign in first and last name for us, please.
Sure. Hi, good evening. I'm here because of a retaining wall that has been built and is in the stream buffer that is behind lots number, I believe it's 20, 21, and 22 in the Cedar Crest Station subdivision off of Cedar Crest Road. So this wall was part of the original design, the LDP plans. It was approved as part of the LDP. It was also approved as part of the original, the revision that was done as well. I have a copy of the revision, the approved revisions and the original approved LDP. It was also approved when the wall was permitted as well. What we are asking for is a variance due to the wall being located inside of that buffer, the zoning buffer.
The wall's already built.
The wall is built, yes.
That's built.
I believe it was built, I know that I brought with me the wall certifications from the engineer, and those are dated August of this year. I believe it was built in June into July. And I can give you a copy of those, if that would be helpful.
How tall is this wall?
The engineering and the Fairbanks Engineering and Anchor.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry?
How tall is the wall?
The wall is,
Do you have any photos?
I do not. Let me see if I've got that here. If you look at the last page of your, of the packet, it does have the exhibit for the wall. And from what I understand, there was some question during the, when they were out there, that there were some rocks and whatnot that they didn't want to blast and impact the homes behind it, and that was the reasoning for that. I do not have the information about how tall the wall is, but I could get that very quickly.
I went and looked at the walls. We're talking about multiple walls. What you gave me there shows 11 block high wall, but the entire wall is over 40 feet. in elevation, and I
Okay.
don't know, Chris, you'll have to help us on this, how that wall and the walls above it come together to make one.
Okay.
You mentioned that it was on the original plans that were approved and that you had a copy. Could we look at that?
Sure.
First paragraph. Yeah. Chris, are you aware of where the property line is in relation to those?
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, the buffer's 25 feet. It appears at their maximum, they have went back into it 11 feet. So I'm assuming that it's around 14 feet past the wall, back to the property line.
So it goes into the second phase of the wall.
I thought they were. That's my, perhaps at this point, maybe there's some separation that they're talking about, but I thought this was all just one wall.
It's not really like it's shown here. This is when we picked up on it. Yeah, because it's not really showing the buffer on this plan. It's like one label, 25 foot, it doesn't show where it goes.
That's what was confusing to me, is because you have multiple walls.
Well, here's a 64 contour, and here's 78, so it's probably ours. Well, this is 65. About 12 feet design by design. More than that, way more.
Wait. This is a minimum of 40.
This was approved.
What's that? 880 up there?
Well, this right here is 888. 880, I mean, that's probably, let's see, it's going up, so that would be, should be 890, 92, 894 right there.
Yes, I'm sure.
So 94 down to there would be about just shy of 30 feet, that elevation down to there. Chris, do you recall, should I speak in here for the? Yeah, go ahead.
Chris, do you recall if there was any landscaping plans that were part of this LDP submittal? And did it call for any additional landscaping in this area?
I don't think there was any landscaping that was required. My understanding at first was it would be undisturbed. As you saw on the final plat, that there is some encroachment, and that's where this whole process started from, with the variance.
I'm hoping they're going to send it to me. I'm waiting on it.
Are there any safety rails at the top of this wall or fencing?
No, there are not.
Have they done any foundation surveys on the slabs of the homes that have been constructed?
So the properties that have been constructed, I don't know that off the top of my head, but I can find that.
We were just looking at some photos, and it appeared that those slabs did get pretty close to that wall. I just didn't know if they, in fact, encroached on the buffer as well.
Mm-hmm.
I know that's altogether a different issue. It's just
Right.
something we're
Okay.
but there is a fence, there's a fence on top of the wall in the
There
photos.
is.
So, yeah,
Okay.
that will take care of that concern.
Do you have anything to add?
I do
Lauren?
not.
Any other questions from the board? Has there been any opposition, Chris, to this?
We've had no opposition, and our guest tonight, the lady, she received a letter. She's on the south side of this development. And because it's an overall development, we sent the letters to all the adjoining property owners. And I'm going to be getting with her later regarding over in her side of this development.
So in this variance application, it should have been stated that there is a wall already there. In the first part of it, it says variance proposes to allow a retaining wall in the 25-foot undisturbed buffer on the north side of the property to the rear. That's why we have so many questions, is because getting a variance to put a wall in and the wall already being in, we just want to make sure that everything's covered in that.
Can I ask a question? Chris, do you know if the subdivision to the north, if those homes have been constructed and there are residents in those lots that adjoin these?
They have been constructed, and there are residents in the lots north of this.
So those
This tract.
residents would have received letters from this?
Yes, that's
from this
correct.
notice?
And there's walls to the north of this in the creek at Arthur Hills also.
Okay.
One more question to you, Chris. Is the same developer developed the lots north of these that is doing these lots?
No, sir, it's a different developer,
Different builder also?
different builder also.
I'd like to ask the applicant one more question, if she doesn't mind. I see on the variance exhibit that there's a HOA easement. Will the wall be maintained by the HOA?
Yes, it will.
Mr. Johnson, that is one thing that we would require, that it's not left to the individual homeowner.
Yeah, and it is part of the HOA.
Need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Need a second?
Second.
All in favor? Let it be known by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign.